Hey, good evening. This is Tasha from Tasha's Creative Corner. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Today we are going to be learning something new. It's called using a water slide. So I am going to show you. I have an order from Etsy for a baby bottle, and this design is going to be sunflowers and it's going to be done using water slide. So for those who don't know what water slide is, just stick with me and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Okay, this here is the water slide paper, so it's a special paper that you have to use to do water slide. I usually get this paper here off of Amazon, and it's pretty much, so it's a special paper, and you're going to see why, because it's called water slide, because how I'm going to get it onto the bottle is with water. So you have the front side, you're going to use your regular printer, and you're going to print your image onto this. And then this is the back, so you know. And then this is the front. It's kind of like a glossy matte-ish look. But anyway, you're gonna print on your image onto the paper, and you could do this for any image if you like. Now, what I find out for this design, the white is gonna show up, or the colors light like white are the ones that are gonna show up best in water slide. Because water slide is transparent. You do have a white one. I don't really care for the white, the one with for dark colors. It don't look as natural to me. But for the white one, you can use the white one, and this is a clear water slide. That's the one that I prefer to use. But I usually get my water slide from Amazon. And by the way, yes, I use my regular inkjet printer. So your regular printer, you don't have to have special ink. I usually use my regular inkjet printer to get this accomplished. All right, so the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the image. So it's going to be sunflowers. I'm going to show you. Let me get my screen so that I can see, show you guys the screen. Okay guys, so this here is the image that I'm going to be putting onto the bottle. So this here is just the picture, like I said, and because it's going on the cup, the water slide does not need to be, mirrored. You can just print it out with your regular image. And so what I do is I go, this particular picture, it saves a picture. So this here is a JPG file, a regular JPG file, regular size 8.5 by 11. And so I'm just going to go ahead and print that picture. I'm going to go to File. And I know everything shows kind of backward on here. I apologize. But I'm going to File and Print. I'm waiting for it to come up. It's kind of slow. All right, I don't want it through my sublimation printer. I am going to do it through my regular printer. I have an Epson Workforce 3730. I don't want it to be landscape. I do want this image to be portrait. And I'm going to say semi-gloss, just because I want it to be a good quality printout coming. All right, and with that being said, then I'm going to print it. Okay, so once the image is printed, it printed out onto my sheet. I usually take a clipboard, and there's an extra step that I'm not going to show in this video just because I had to get time for this to dry, and it's cold outside, so I had to go ahead so I can get this step done. But what I do is I use the triple thick glaze, the Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze, and I spray the image just to seal it so that it wouldn't run or anything like that. But I spray it, and that's why you see it looks all shiny. So I spray that on this image. I spray down, then I turn it, I spray to the side, and then I spray down again just to make sure I have it coated well. So it's just about three coats of that triple thick on here. All right, so now this image here is ready to use for the water slide. So what do I need for this next step? You simply need some water and the water slide and whatever it is that you're putting it on. So I'll show you the next steps. Alright, for this step here, I am simply going to cut the water slide. So I know the ones that I want to use. I'm not going to use all of these for the design, but I'm going to use most of them. So I'm just cutting out the ones that I want. I am just cutting out and put it aside. Then I want these 3. So I'm going to just cut out these 3 right here. I just trim it down without cutting over the image. I'll show you how it works. I'm just trimming them down. And you might find a better way to cut this than I'm doing, but it's really no rhyme or reason. I just cut it down. And I do want one of these, the half ones. And so I'm just cutting this down as well. Okay. And for the ones that you don't use right away, you can actually just store this. This is dry, so you could just store this and then you can use this at a later date. So that's fine. I'm just going to put that aside. Here comes the fun part. Alright, so for the water slide, I'm going to, let's see if I can put this where you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start first with this first image here, and all you will do is drop this into the water. When you drop it into the water, it will kind of curl up, but it will separate this picture from the backing. So you put it into the water, and that's what I'm about to do. So I'm putting it into the water. You see how it curled up, and that's okay when it curls up like that. That's okay. So I leave it in there. By the way, this is just lukewarm water, just regular water from my pipe. So you just leave it in there until, and you can open it back up, and I'm trying to see, so it's not quite ready yet. So I'll leave it in there a little bit. You don't need to leave it in there too long, but you just want it enough for it to separate from the paper. And it should be ready about now, I think. Let's see. Okay. I'll put in just for a little bit more. Let me see, it's starting to separate. I hope I didn't have this too long. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take the paper sometimes you can separate it. I don't really recommend it this way because I think I'm going to mess this first one up here. Because it is like plastic. That's what it feels like. Let's see how this is going to work out because I think, and then you just kind of, so I had this paper for a while. I don't know because usually it slips off a lot easier. And I shouldn't have to take it in my hand like the way that I had to. But let's see. And I'm going to take just a tissue and just to like, it has air bubbles in there. So I want to just lightly tap it down to get those air bubbles out of it. Just want to get those air bubbles out. And I think the way that I just put it on there is what made me get so many air bubbles, but just simply tap it with the paper towel and it gets those air bubbles coming out. And so that's what I'm just getting the air bubbles out. And just being very gentle with it because the paper is very thin on the bottom there. And so you pretty much just pat it down. And so the first water slide has been applied. That's why I said the white background looks much better because it's kind of, you see the glitter coming through. It's a very transparent paper. Alright, so I am going to do, let's see, the opposite back of this. I'm going to put the three, well, let me do, let's see where I want this one. So I'm going to put this one on next. Same thing, it rolls up when it goes into the water. Let me see if this piece here is going to come off a little bit better. You see it separates, so it's just, you can throw it out of there. I've had this paper for a while, so I don't know, it's not coming up the regular way like how I would normally have it done, but it's working, so. I'm just waiting for it to separate. So it's separating. So I'll show you the right way to do it now. So it's wet. I'll just put it right here. I need this way. So I'm gonna just slip this off. Let it slide on to the cup. And then do the same thing. I'm gonna just, now this one here shouldn't have as much air bubbles because this one went on much better, much easier. That's how it should go on. And now all I'm doing is just tapping this real light so I could get the air bubbles out. If you tap it too hard, then it's going to rip it, and you don't want it to rip your image. So I'm just pressing the air out of it. Alright, so I got these two on so far. And now I'm going to just put some fillers up in the back right here. So I'm going to put 3 of them. And I'll drop all 3 of these in at the same time. You don't have to do them one at a time. So I'm just waiting for it to be ready. And remember, we know that it's ready when it starts to separate. That's how you know it's ready. I'm just looking to see where my placement of them are going to be. All right, let's see. Well, I'm left-handed. This is kind of hard for me to turn this for you to see, but I'm just slipping it off. Kind of using my finger to flatten it down. Now I'm going to take this here and just, like I said, got the air bubbles and stuff from under it. I'm going to put one here and then one here. See, it's ready. It's just slipping right off. Put it right here. And it's one of the reasons that I go ahead and spray it so that when it meets the this part here, it's not. And you see, you can still move it around because I didn't like I was too close over there, so I just kind of move it here to even off the spaces. And I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. And it's still fine. Now I'm just going to get the bubbles out of it. Like I said, I think Waterslide shows up better on white glitter. And before you do this step here to put the Waterslide on, you have to make sure that you sand the cup down. Because if it has, if you don't sand it, it's not going to be, it's going to be bumpy, so it's going to mess your Waterslide up. So you should never apply decals before sanding anyway. This is how it looks so far. And then I'm going to put one more here. again, you see it's separated. And I am simply going to just slip it out. I'm going to move it over some. Okay. All right, and that's it. We just applied Waterslide to the bottle. Now I'm not gonna seal this tonight because I do have to seal this. I am actually gonna leave this and let it completely dry overnight. Besides, I didn't know if the person in the order, when she placed the order, she didn't say if she wanted a name or not, so I sent her an email. So I'm gonna wait for her to respond as to whether or not she wants a name on the cup. But this is how it looks. And we've applied the Waterslide. All right, well, thank you guys for looking. All right, you have a good night. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I will show you a picture of another cup that I did like this with the Waterslide. Of course, like I said, this here won't be done tonight, but I'll show you what the finished cup is going to look like. All right, so thank you so much again, and that's how we do Waterslide. You have a good night, and thanks again for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. All right, have a good day.